wonderful Patillo family. I have so much. Y'all are on my superhero list, by the way. You got to know the Patillo family. You know what? Talk to Amani if y'all ever want to do something at the convention. I don't know if y'all should. I think that literally we should be trained on how to build great families, and the Patillo family is one of those examples that's out there. I think that that kind of training is the kind of stuff we should do as standard in our community. I really just think you got to stop letting white people tell you what your protocol should be, what your standard educational process should look like. I'm not saying this to be anti-white. I'm just saying this to be pro-black, that, all those other people that design these educational programs that don't work, that don't give us adequate skill, that don't teach us anything that's going to have value in our lives, those people are not qualified to educate you. They're just not. So, in my opinion, I think we should look at what we need and educate ourselves on the things that we need. And one thing that we need is we need to build strong families. We have to make this a mandatory requirement. I just really think about how much less pain, devastation, economic trauma would be out here if we had stable families. If we had families where people could just try to get on the same page, learn a little bit about things like marriage and how that works, develop a protocol for family unity. I think every family should have a therapist or somebody that can kind of come in and help you work out your issues. Because when you have a bunch of traumatized people kind of trying to do stuff together as a group, it just becomes a complete mess. And it's very anti-wealth, by the way. It's a massive, massive wealth destroyer, because every time you start something and you can't finish it, that's wasted resources. That's wasted time, wasted money, lost money, all kinds of stuff. Even if I always use a simple example to help everybody understand what I see when I see a broken family, or when a group of people that used to work together that can't work together anymore. Think about like a musical group. One of my good friends, Willie D, is from the Ghetto Boys. And Willie, he was like, we're really good friends. He was in my wedding. And so I remember, just kind of talking to Willie, and I said, man, do you know that, you and Scarface and Bushwick, if you guys could get along, and go on tour together, there's so much money out there. A lot of people would love to see the Ghetto Boys. And Willie, he's a good guy. He's funny. He's got that Texas accent. He'd be like, man, Bushwick, man, and then they get into like these issues, which is gonna happen when you've been working with somebody for 30 years. And but I'm sitting there thinking, if this was back when Bushwick was alive, right? RIP to Bushwick Bill, but basically it's like and I don't think Willie would mind me sharing that as an example, but in my head, I was seeing all the millions of dollars that are lost when you can't get on the same page. Do you understand? So for a lot of your families, you lose a lot of money because you can't get on the same page. So pay attention now. In the midst of all these things that white people tell you that you're supposed to learn in order to make money, like you got to go get a degree in accounting, and you have to go spend $200,000 on a bachelor's degree, or maybe I should go back to school again and get my master's. How many of y'all have heard people say that, right? Amidst all those other things that they're telling you that will go get you more money, those things that do not work, I think that maybe you should add conflict resolution skill to your list of essential skills that a person can have that will keep the money flowing. Do you understand? Like that will maintain those relationships. Let me know if you get what I'm saying. Sometimes I need like yeses so you get so you're just to know that you're following me, because I don't want this to sound like I don't think I'm talking over anybody's head. Because all of us just know that pain and that loss that comes from not being able to work together, and it's hurtful, it's traumatic, and all these other. It costs you a lot more than just money. But I want you to also see the money. I want you to see, in economics, we call this the shadow cost. Or another term for it would be the opportunity cost. See, people that are not financially conscious, they don't see the shadow cost. They don't see what they would have had. If you can't even see what's in front of you, how are you going to see what you could have had and would have had if things had gone different? That requires your consciousness to be able to go to a higher dimension where you can look in the fourth and fifth dimension and see all the possibilities that God put in front of you that you completely missed. And what does the word poor stand for? Write it, put it in the chat. What does poor, Poor, stand for? It stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. So here's what that means. This means to me that every day there's this shadow universe of all these possibilities that you could be. You could be a millionaire, you could be running a business with your cousin, you could be quitting your job and living your best life. All these are shadow realities that many of us can't see because all we can see is what's in front of us. So we're walking past all these opportunities, passing over opportunities repeatedly and saying, gosh, this is all I have. All I have is $20. But that's because you're poor. You're poor because you're poor. You're not just poor in money, you're poor in insight and vision because you're poor because the only reality you're able to lock into is the reality that's in front of you, the one that has $20 in your pocket. You can't lock into you don't have the consciousness yet to lock into the other 10 million realities that could have existed